We'll admit all. All right, away we go. Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the A-State Alumni Association's first Lunch and Learn session of 2021. We're thrilled to see you all here, such a large group to join us today to listen to some financial literacy and financial planning with Arkansas State's very own Dr. Philip Tu. Dr. Tu graduated from Russellville, Arkansas before attending college at the University of Mississippi. While at Ole Miss, Dr. Tu earned a bachelor's degree with majors in banking, managerial finance, and general business, a master's degree in business administration, a law degree, a master's of taxation, and a PhD with a major in finance. Dr. Tu has been a faculty member at A-State since 2009 and is currently an associate professor of finance in the Neil Griffin College of Business and is the founding director of the Scarlet to Black Financial Literacy Program at Arkansas State. This is a program focused on improving the financial wellness of our students here on campus. And without much further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to hand it over to Dr. Philip Tu. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Tu.
Thank you. First, I think there's a horrible lie going on here, because I thought this was the Alumni Association, and I know there's at least one non-alumni person in here, because on my screen I see Brooklyn Boudreaux, who is sitting here staring away, and I believe Brooklyn is a freshman at A-State. Is that correct? Brooklyn.
Yeah. Is this like only for alumni? Because I got the email.
No, Brooklyn, you can stay. You can stay. Okay. Brooklyn is one of our star new bowling members here at A-State. So thank y'all for letting me come and be a part of this. And so we're going to talk some about financial literacy, financial wellness is what kind of the areas that I focus on and I talk about. Hopefully you'll get something out of this. And so the talk that I'm doing is similar to, in some ways, talks that I give to all of our first year students. Some ways it's different. But, what I start off with is I tell them, and we just had a talk, Taylor and I had a talk before everybody got logged on. I think some of the previous presenters for the Lunch and Learn have been what I would call real doctors and not a finance doctor. And they do, real sciencey type stuff and do this very technical, high level stuff. And that's not me. I tell them that I wish it was more difficult, the area that I cover, because then I could do great research and win a Nobel Prize and have a wonderful time. But unfortunately, that's not the case. A lot of what I do and a lot of my area, comes back to people saying, well, that's kind of common sense. And in a way it is, but in a way it's things that we still struggle with. So, one of the first things that we always talk about and that people struggle with, and that really goes a long way into helping you make better financial decisions and smarter financial decisions, really is a concept that's very simple. It's the concept of budgeting. And with budgeting, that's one of those areas that people go, well, I know how to do that. I know how to budget. And typically they don't. Typically they're pretty bad at budgeting, which is why financial issues crop up, which is why people use credit cards for things they really shouldn't be using them for. And so, what I want to talk a little bit about is, some of the budgeting aspects, and we'll move on to some other areas. But until you really become skilled at budgeting, you're going to struggle a lot with your finances. And one of the places we start off at, and I talk to third graders, I talk to people that are getting ready to retire. So I kind of run the gamut of people I talk to. And we talk about budgeting quite a bit with this. And one of the things we've done is we've kind of come up with this, the people in Scarlet to Black and myself have kind of come up with this game that we've done to kind of break the ice with people. And it's basically a needs versus wants. And what we're really looking at is, okay, what are your priorities? What do you need for your priority? And so we have people choose. You can only choose one of the two. What do you give up? And one of the topics is, what are you going to give up? Your toothbrush or your hairbrush? Which one do you give up? Some of you, I have a feeling, are going to say hairbrush, because I'm looking, some of you may be like myself, where the hairbrush really doesn't accomplish much in the mornings. You'll be happy to know there's about 16 of these items we do. You'll be happy to know every time we've done this with little kids, the overall winner at the end of the tournament has always been toothbrush. So parents, you're doing a great job convincing your kids that brushing your teeth are important. Unfortunately, they forget by the time they get to high school and college. Because when we've done this with high school and college students, toothbrushes never win, ever. What it usually comes down to is streaming music or their phone. Which do you choose, streaming music or your phone? What are you going to give up? Typically, the winner of that one has been the phone, but it's very close. And we've done with this with adults, people that are not in college. What do you think the answer is for adults? What's the last thing standing? That adult will not get rid of their car. The car is the last thing. Second is coffee. So adults will get rid of their toothbrush. They will get rid of their siblings. Lynn Howerton is about to cry when I say this. They'll get rid of their pets. They will not get rid of their car. They will not get rid of their coffee. That's what we're looking at. And so what it comes down to is really looking at your needs versus your wants. And one of the areas that I disagree with some of the other financial literacy people out there, who are typically very opinionated and are on the radio and make a lot more money than I'll ever make in my life. And I understand that. They really hammer home this, you've got to focus on your needs, not your wants, your needs, not your wants. And they make it seem as though everyone has the exact same needs. They make it seem as though my needs are the same as your needs, or the same as someone else's needs. How many people today, other than Luna, who has now raised her hand 4 times, how many people today, maybe Glenda Cosby, I can't tell, how many people today have had a cup of coffee? I see hands going up. Lynn Howerton's hand is up. I see hands popping up. A lot of hands. People clapping and cheering. Thumbs up. Happening all over the world. People with your coffee. How many of you people had a cup of coffee yesterday? Crystal Thurman had. How many of you had coffee yesterday? Raise your hand. I see the hands going up again. There's someone driving who actually logged on just in time to say, yes, I've had coffee. That's how adamant they are. How many of you had it the day before? Again, numbers are going up huge. Here's what I would tell you people. You're wasting your money. It's a horrible waste of money. You're doing a horrible job financially. The reason why I say that, I hate coffee. I hate everything about coffee. I don't drink coffee. Now, Diet Dr. Pepper from Sonic. This is a wonderful thing. 2,000 years ago, sweet baby Jesus came here to earth and brought us Diet Dr. Pepper from Sonic. And all was well with the world, and there was peace on earth because of this. This is a need. This is not a frivolous want. You people have frivolous wants. This is a need to me. If every Starbucks and Shadrack's went away, I would never lose a second of sleep because it is not a need to me. Unfortunately, I am married to one of you evil people. I am married to an evil coffee person, a person who must have her coffee every morning before she even speaks to another human being or animal. We make sure in our budget that we budget for her coffee, because if she doesn't get her coffee, someone is going to get hurt in the house. It's either going to be me or the dog. The dog is small and quick. I am neither small nor quick. So I know who will get hurt in the house. It will be me. So we make damn sure that we budget for her coffee, just like we budget for my Diet Dr. Pepper from Sonic that I must have every day. That I go there every day so much that I'm friends with 3 of the Sonic people on Facebook just based on me going through the drive-thrus at Sonic. My love for the Sonic Diet Dr. Pepper. People now pay me to come speak at their gatherings with Diet Dr. Pepper. It's the same as cash to me. That's how great it is. But that is a need. Others would say that's a horrible want. If it's something you can't live without, that is your need. And you need to make sure you budget for that. You need to make sure you include that in your budget. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people, I've seen people, well, I smoke cigarettes. I smoke 3 packs of cigarettes every day. I've smoked them for 40 years, and they don't budget for it. They go, well, I think I'm going to quit. Well, you probably should quit. There's probably some kind of health problem with it. If I had to guess, I'm not a doctor, a real one. I don't even play one on TV. There's probably a good health reason to quit. But my guess is if you smoke 4 packs of cigarettes every day for 40 years, you're probably not going to quit because it's not in your budget. As I tell people, there are 2, maybe 3 times you need to be completely honest. One, when you go see a doctor, you need to tell them what's really wrong with you. 2, if you're a Catholic, I believe you have to tell your priest everything bad. I'm Episcopalian, we don't do that. We keep our stuff to ourselves. We don't go to confession. And 3 is own your own budget. You need to be honest with your budget. If you know there's something you absolutely cannot live without, you have to include it. My next bit of advice when it comes to budgeting and being smart with budgeting, I see Lynn right now, I see Lynn Howerton right now with a pen very close to the screen. You need to write it down. You need to write down your budget. First thing you need to do is you need to spend about a month writing down every time you spend a penny. If you donate 8 cents to homeless cats of Izard County, Arkansas, which I bet Lynn has at some point, you need to write that down. You need to write down, this is where I've spent my money. First off, you have no idea where you spent your money. You may think, I have a pretty good idea I spent it here. You'll be shocked after that first month. I can't believe I spent so much money on Sonic Diet Dr. Pepper, Starbucks, whatever you are be shocked about. You'll be stunned by that. Second, it will help you as you begin to do this. It'll help you understand where your money goes and what your priorities are. Now, once you have where you spent your money, now you sit down and you figure out your budget. First thing you do is you put down how much your income is, how much your after-tax income is. Try to pay your taxes. I've been told we're not making this a political statement. Pay your taxes. That's as political as I'll get. From what I understand, jail is bad. So don't go to jail. I had to write a release saying that I would not give tax or legal advice. there's my only tax or legal advice. Don't go to jail. Um, but what I want you to do is write down, this is what I make, and then write down what your expenses are right now. Hopefully income is greater than expenses. Hopefully. If not, then we try to find ways to change that. One of the first things that I do that makes me a little bit different than some of the other financial literacy people, the first thing I tell people is not, okay, you need to cut expenses. Um, that's not something that I look at first. My first thing for you to look at is there a way, Deborah Eberwine, I just saw her lift a lovely cup from Sonic. Deborah, you're now my favorite person in here. I appreciate that, Deborah. So there you go. Thank you, Deborah's a good God-fearing person. Um, so what I tell people is, can you figure out a way to make more money? Can you figure out a way to increase your income? Um, I'm always stunned at the number of people that when I say, hey, have you thought about starting a side business, a side hustle? And they go, no, I don't have any skills. I can't do that. And the thing that really cracks me up is when I go talk to third graders and fourth graders and I talk about starting a business, I get the opposite response. I have kids that have 5, 6, 7 different business ideas. And I host a business plan competition every year. And every year, without fail, I will hear 4 or 5 business ideas from a third, fourth, fifth, or sixth grader that I go, man, that's a really cool idea. I would really probably invest in that. That's a really good idea. That's cool. Somehow, from elementary to high school to college to post college, we beat that out of you. Somehow, the entrepreneurship spirit just gets beaten out of you or beaten out of a lot of people. So one of the things I would look at is, what's a way to do a side hustle? What are a way to make, you know, side money? When I've gone out and talked with people and, I say, what skills do you have? I get well, I can't really do anything. I said, so there's literally, you have no skill whatsoever. You barely are able to walk and breathe at the same time. Well, I can do this and that. And after talking for about 4, 5, 6 minutes, all of a sudden we realized they have all these great skills that people would pay for, that people would do a great job. I've had someone tell me, well, I can't do anything. And after talking for 4 or 5 minutes and kind of getting them to relax, I find out that people from all over the community came to this lady just to have her fried chicken. I said, I'm not an expert here, but it sounds like you can do fried chicken well. Have you thought about doing a small catering business? Well, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is how to fry chicken. Well, I'm not asking you to come up with souffles, just, you know, fried chicken. And so a lot of what we see is we see people that struggle because they're really not thinking, I hate to say outside the box. I hate that phrase. The only time I like using that phrase is when I talk to my wife and and we talk about thinking outside the box. And I tell her not only does she not think outside the box, she won't even use all the box to think in. She uses a very small piece of the box and won't even look at the rest of the box. She's very focused. What I want people to do is to think of ways to increase your income. It may be a long-term increase, it may be a short-term increase, but find a way to increase that income. Find a way to have people pay for something you're skilled at. I'm going to dread doing this. I promise you, I will dread this more than you can imagine. I see Ahad Sandrani is on this call. He's got a Seattle backdrop behind him, but I feel confident he is not in Seattle. Ahad is a CIT major from Dallas. I'm betting, I don't know why I would bet this, but I'm betting Ahad has some computer skills somewhere. And my guess is people would pay Ahad for some of those computer skills. If you have computer skills, think about ways to reach out and talk to people. I talk to younger people and they tell me, high school students, college students tell me, I don't have any skills. I said, what do you do with your life? Well, I'm on YouTube and Instagram a lot. I said, really? So what do you do on YouTube and Instagram? I put up videos and stuff. Huh. You ever see businesses on there? Yeah. You ever see local businesses on there? Not really. Why do you think that is? Well, I don't think the business owners really know what they're doing. Huh. But yet you're on there all the time. Business owners have a need. Maybe you could reach out to them and start a business that way. I don't know what your skill sets are. I don't know who many of you are, but I feel confident in saying you all have a skill set out there that would allow you to bring in extra income to help offset the expenses. After you've looked through that, my next area to look at, okay, now we start looking at these financial situations. Now we start looking at expenses. We start looking at, are we really focusing on our needs? And we know what our needs are. We know what we can't live without. And we start focusing on those. Once we have our needs lined up and our income, then we can start looking at other expenses and we can start looking at investing. I've got a series of questions that y'all have provided as you go through here. So I'm going to answer some as we go through. I get a lot of questions about investing, and you're all going to love to hear this, that a finance professor at your alma mater is about to make this statement. I have people ask me all the time, Dr. Tu, where are you invested? And they love my answer. I have no idea. I have no clue. Not a clue. What stocks are you invested in? No idea. Don't you teach finance? Yes, I do. You don't know where you're invested? No, I do not. There's a reason for that. I invest in mutual funds. My retirement accounts are in mutual funds. I never invest in individual stocks. My theory, my thought, and I think it holds up very well, is those people that do well investing in individual stocks are people that follow the stock market very, very closely. You need to be either lucky or really smart in the stock market by following it a lot. Research I've read, people I've talked to be really good in the stock market, you need to devote about 50 to 55 hours a week on the stock market. That sounds god awful to me. I can find so many other things to do with my 50 to 55 hours. There's a lot of stuff on ESPN. I can watch that instead of the 55 hours for the stock market. That's not something I have a passion for. That's not something that I follow a lot. I invest in mutual funds. I think that with the mutual funds, what you end up getting is you get the diversity that you want. So you reduce your risk that way, and you get the amount and the risk that you're willing to take on. I'm a very risk averse person. I don't take on a lot of risk. I've never jumped out of an airplane with a parachute or without a parachute. I've never thought about doing that. When I get in an airplane, I sit down, I put my seatbelt on, I do not get up, period. When my wife unbuckles her seatbelt, if the seatbelt sign's still on, I will press the button to have a flight attendant come and try to taser her because she has broken the rule. I am very risk averse. Very. Do not ever stand. I have flown from Atlanta to Seattle and never stood up one time. That's the way I do this. So my investing is the same way. I'm very risk averse. I invest in mutual funds. I put my money aside into that. It's a well-diversified mutual fund. I find mutual funds that have been out for a while. I don't like investing in new things. I like investing in mutual funds that have a proven track record. Those are things that are important to me. If for some reason, after you've invested, in your mutual funds, you still want to gamble and you don't want to drive to Tunica or West Memphis or Hot Springs or Oklahoma or Missouri or everywhere else there's a casino, and you want to invest in the stock market, here's my advice to you. And this isn't just my advice. This is advice based on advice given by Warren Buffett, who seems to understand something about the market. What I tell students that are playing the stock market game, I talk to elementary kids who do the stock market game, I give the same advice to adults. Before you invest in a company, you need to be able to answer 2 questions, and both of those questions need to be able to answer with 1 sentence. If you cannot answer these 2 questions in 1 sentence, you have no business investing in that company. Question 1, what does that company do? Question 2, how does that company make a profit? If you can't answer those 2 questions with 1 sentence, then you have no business investing in that company. You are strictly rolling a dice. You are strictly putting money in a slot machine. One of the questions that was asked to me was, what are my opinions of cryptocurrency? Very simple. I don't invest in it. Not at all. I understand numbers have gone up. People have made money out of it. My rule gets back to, I can't answer those 2 questions. Question 1, what is it? I don't understand it. Question 2, how do you make money off of it? Well, I think the price goes up. You make money that way. Why does the price go up? I'm assuming there's a supply and demand issue there. But I don't know enough about it to invest. I would never invest in it. That's not something I do. So when I'm looking at companies, if I do decide to invest in individual stocks, that's not something I would ever look at doing is cryptocurrency. I would look at stocks that I understand. One of the things that was so popular a couple of years ago, and I had my students do analysis on it, was Snapchat. All college students love Snapchat. They're snapping, they're chatting. I'm doing neither one. And so when I asked them the question, what does Snapchat do? They were able to answer it somewhat in 1 sentence. I then asked the next question, how do they make a profit? That's where answers got a little rough. The reason why I got answers got a little rough was because Snapchat doesn't know how they're going to make a profit because they haven't made a profit. So, when it comes to investing, especially investing in individual stocks, it's a high risk. One of the things I tell people is I would never, ever, ever invest in a company whose focus, whose clientele are people under the age of 30. I see Luna smiling there as I say that. Luna is under the age of 30. Here's why I say that. That generation of people under the age, and this is where I get to be like the old man standing and shaking his fist. I think the younger generation is a great generation. I think they've done awesome things. I think they're a much better generation than my generation. I think they're much more caring about people than my generation. That being said, I think that generation is the most unloyal generation we've ever seen in our lifetime. And what I mean by that is they find something that they love, they are all in on it, and then about a year later, it is dead. It is the most popular thing ever. Everybody's doing it, and then it dies. And so, as an investor, that worries me. I don't want to invest in a company that's focusing on young people when I know young people are going to find it very hot, and then they're going to kill it. 3-4 years ago, when I went and talked to people, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, when I talked to young people, they would all tell me, Dr. Tu, the hottest thing out there is Vine. We love Vine, Dr. Tu. We're all about Vine. Some of you are looking at me right now going, what in the hell is Vine? Lynn Howerton has that look of, I have no idea what Vine is. Vine was a social media platform, kind of like YouTube, except for the videos were very short. Think of it as TikTok. Vine was extremely popular. And then now, where is Vine? It is dead. The youth killed Vine. They brought up Vine, then they killed Vine. And so you see that quite a bit. When I talked to kids 2 years ago, elementary kids, and I went around and I said, what are you hoping to get for Christmas? What's your favorite Christmas toy? I was expecting to hear some kind of video game. The answer I got, fidget spinners. That's what they all wanted, was a fidget spinner. Those things were getting up to $8, $10, $12. By the next year, you could buy them at Office Depot 3 for $1. Office Max, whatever the office places call it. 3 for $1. That's how much they had fallen. So that's my issue with investing in individual stocks, is you take on that risk, especially if that stock or that company goes after a certain clientele. Also, you get young people ask, well, what about Facebook? Facebook does really well. And I go, yeah, think about that. Who's on Facebook? Old people like me. I love Facebook. I'm on Facebook all the time. I live for Facebook. I'll give up my toothbrush before I give up Facebook. Old people are on there. The reason why Facebook does well, it's old people. We're very loyal and we have money. Advertisers know that. Young people are unloyal and don't have money. That's why that other stuff doesn't work. That's why Facebook works. Somebody asked, what company do I think is the best company right now? That is a tough question. But I would say, or what are some good stocks to invest in? When it comes to what is the best company right now, the company that to me is the one that seems to be doing the most impressive is Amazon. I remember probably 15 years ago that Walmart was considered to be the ultimate company. No one would ever take down Walmart. Walmart will be here forever. We'll all be dead, gone, grandchildren dead, gone, and Walmart will still be everyday low-cost leader, or all low, whatever Walmart's motto is. They'll always have that, and Walmart will never struggle. Amazon has done well. And Amazon has a wider range. I'm currently, even though it looks like I'm sitting outside on a lovely spring day in front of the house statue, that's a horrible lie. I'm lying to you right off the bat. I'm actually in my TV room at home, where there is an Amazon Fire TV here, an Amazon Fire TV over here, and another Fire TV down here, because you never know when 3 ball games are on at the same time that you need to watch. I think Amazon does a great job. Now, do I think Amazon will be here forever? No, somebody else will come along and be able to top them. Right now, I think they've done a great job of being a well-rounded company. I think also, to be honest, the pandemic has really helped Amazon with people ordering things. You know, when I talk to people, they talk about, well, what about Walmart? I explain, the last time I was in Walmart was probably 4 weeks ago. The last time I ordered something from Amazon, it's 12:35 right now. I ordered something at 9:15 this morning. I ordered it while waiting at a stoplight on Red Wolf Boulevard. I placed an order real quick for something I needed. I love Amazon. I use that a lot more, and Amazon has really shifted the way other companies work. Before that, there really wasn't this 2-day shipping. They didn't really have this, we'll bring it out to your car stuff. Amazon's done a great job. I have a friend that lives in New York. He tells me with his Amazon stuff, he gets same-day delivery. He said, I never have to leave my house. I said, I'm pretty sure that makes you a hermit, and that's not good, but that may be why you're single now, is because, you know, you don't leave your house, but that's a different story. But when we talk about, you know, what to invest in, that's an area that I really think people need to look at, is look at mutual funds. Make sure you put your money in a well-diversified mutual fund with a long history. One of the questions that I got was, let me see if I get this correctly. Let's see. I've always heard buy low, sell high, but when I was younger, my typical experience was buy high and sell low as I chased the hot mutual fund. A lot of people do that. Here, once again, is the advice that I give that probably not a lot of other people will give. Every month, every quarter, your mutual fund retirement provider will send you a lovely envelope that's probably about 35 pages thick. And you probably only look at the top page and you never read the other 34 pages. That's okay. Although, as a lawyer, it's very offensive that a fellow lawyer wrote all that and you won't even bother reading his or her work. So, someone spent time writing that, you can at least read the crap, okay? Lawyers are people too. Some of us write that stuff. However, when you look through there, you look at the front page, you see if your numbers have gone up, your numbers have gone down, and then people sit there and they worry about it. They figure out what to do with it. Here's what I recommend based on behavioral economics research. Look at it. Make sure the amount of money that you think was supposed to go in there went in there. Then take that and put it in a file cabinet or in the garbage can after you shred it, because it probably has information on it you don't want other people to see. Don't sit there and just stare at it and try to beat the market with your mutual fund. Or what you're going to do is you're always going to be buying high and selling low. And that's not good. So when you get the information, look at it and go, okay, this is the money I want. This is the money I thought was going in. Now I'm going to put it down. Because if you look at it, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go, you know what? This one over here, I gained 6.2%. This one over here gained 8.7. I'm going to move all mine into that. And then next time, that one's going to be at 6.2. The first one's going to be at 8.7. You're going to be going back and forth, and you're going to be selling low and buying high. And that's not what you want to do. So you need to try not to outsmart yourselves. One of the areas that we've talked about that every student who's had me has seen me do this in class. One of the things we talk about is I pick two students. Typically, one's a he and one's a she. And I give them the exact same background. And I go around the room and I ask everybody else in class, who are you going to have invest your money? He or she? Most of the males all pick the he, and about 2/3 of the female pick the she, 1/3 pick the he. And in reality, or in theory, should it matter? No. The only difference is he's a he, she's a she. In real life, does it matter? Yes. Research has shown that you should let the she do it and not the he. The reason why? And surprisingly, none of the college girls are shocked by this next statement. He's tend to suffer from overconfidence. He's tend to be more confident than she's. When I mention that in class, every female in there, without fail. And there's research that has shown that this starts at a very early age. That one of my favorite research articles is I think kindergarten or first grade. They had two cushion things for the kids to jump from one to the other. There's no way the kids are going to make it. They're going to fail. Every boy who was asked to do it tried and failed. Every girl who was asked to do it did not try. When the boys were asked, they said, well, I thought I could do it. When the girls were asked, they said, I didn't think I could do it. They attributed that to boys being overconfident. To me, I attribute it to being girls being smarter. They knew they were going to fail, so they didn't do it. To me, it sounded like the boys were being stupid. But that was not what the psychologists found, and who am I to argue with them? They're close to real medical doctors, closer than I am. So, but to me, that's what it sounded like. And that's when it comes to investing, what we see a lot of us doing. We see a lot of us have way too much confidence in our own skills. And because of that extra confidence, we think we can beat the market. And remember, when you're looking at beating the market, you're looking at beating people who spend 50, 60, 80, 100 hours working on this, who have every type of computer system working on analyzing this. And you're trying to beat them with I've got a hunch. My cousin's roommate's brother's uncle works at this place. I think I got an idea. The number of times I've heard that is overwhelming. Everybody in Arkansas must know someone who works for Tyson, because the number of people that have given me Tyson stock advice is astronomical. Astronomical. Everybody knows someone that works there, and they've got great stock advice. Here's what I'm telling you. Invest in the mutual fund. Invest in a well-diversified mutual fund with a long history. Is it exciting? No. Is it something you can talk about at cocktail parties? No. Absolutely not. Find another topic. Read a book. Find a great book to read, talk about that. It's not a sexy topic. I understand that. I get it. It's not exciting. Talk about a book. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. Don't talk about your mutual fund. I get it. But what we want you to do is look for a long term. Couple of the questions that I've gotten as well is, how do I save money and pay off debt at the same time? One of the first things I would tell you is, when it comes to saving money, is the first thing you should do is focus all your attention on getting an emergency fund. You should have an emergency fund of $1,000 to $1,500 set aside. And what I tell people is, that's an emergency fund, not a I really want to buy this fund. Those are two different things. An emergency is something that keeps you from surviving. Hey, I work, my car is now broken, I can't get to work. That's an emergency. Hey, a new video game just came out. That's not an emergency. Focus on things that are emergency. Put away $1,000 to $1,500. Typically, I say $1,000 for a couple. Add about $250 to $500 for kids. Evidently, I don't have kids. I've never had kids. Evidently, kids get sick and break things. Doesn't sound like something you would want to have, but evidently people do want them. I don't understand why. Luna, I think, has 1, 2, 12, something. I don't know. Once you get past one Luna, it's all the same. So people won't, and so put that aside. Next, once you get that, figure out how much you need per month to live off of in the most basic way necessary. Not, hey, I normally spend this amount of money because I go to 501 club and I have my cocktail, and I have my husband Brad has his hamburger with his beer. Not that we know anybody that does that. Brad Howerton, Lynn Howerton, nobody like that. But what it costs, the basic amount it will cost you to live. Take that amount, multiply it by 3. That's your 3-month expenses. Assume that if you lose your job, you'll get unemployment. So the 3-month plus that unemployment will basically spread it out to where you'll be able to live for about 4 to 5 months. So take the 3-month that you need, the 3 months amount of money that you need, divide that by, I would say, between 18 and 24. And that's how much to try to put away every month until you get that amount socked away. Now, once you get that, so let's say you're putting away, let's say you have an extra $300, you're putting $100 towards that. That means you have 200 extra. Take the other 200 and put it towards paying off debt. I had people tell me, Dr. Tu, I'm investing. Okay, that's great. All your debt's paid off. Well, no, I still have credit card debt, but I want to invest. Okay, well, here's what you're doing. Your credit card debt is charging you 29.9% interest. What are you investing in that's earning you more than 29.9% interest? Because I would like to invest in that as well. That sounds like a great investment. I would like that. Please come tell me. Pay off your credit card debt. Now, your mortgage debt, your car debt, I can see investing while still holding that debt. Someone asked, what's the difference between good debt and bad debt? I would say good debt is something you use that purchases you long-term value, long-term assets. Your home is a long-term asset, unless you have like really bad neighbors. Karen Gilliland is on here. She has horrible neighbors, horrible. She's in her house right now. I'm in my house right now, and she's probably about 100 yards from me right now. Karen has horrible neighbors. So a house is a good thing for good debt. A vehicle can be good debt. Now, maybe a $130,000 sports car when you're making $20,000 a year, probably not a good move. But a car can be good debt. I know this will shock you coming from a college professor. I believe an education can be a good debt within reason. Do I think you should borrow every penny humanly possible to go to college? No. Do I think that you should borrow absolutely no money and work 60 hours a week, go to college and graduate debt free? Answer to that question is probably no as well. One of my former students did that. He graduated. He was very proud. He said, Dr. Tu, I graduated with no debt. He also graduated with a 2.27 GPA, and it took him 6 years. And he struggled finding a job. Maybe a little bit of debt would have taken off the work burden. He could have graduated sooner, may would have helped. Now, do I think it's a good idea to buy your groceries on a credit card? Probably not. That would be bad use of debt. With this caveat, here's my caveat. Some of you have probably said, Dr. Tu, I've been behind you in line at Kroger. First off, you talk to too many damn people while you're in line at Kroger. I'm trying to get through. Second, I've seen you use a credit card to pay for your groceries. That is a true statement. Here's what I recommend. Find a credit card that gives you something that you like, a benefit of something that you like. Use that credit card so that you can earn points, so that you can earn cash back if you'd rather have that. And then instead of using your debit card, use your credit card. Then at night, when you get home, log into your, Lynn is just a waving. Hello, Lynn, I see you too. Lynn's just a waving. When you get home, pay off the credit card of what you spent that day. That way, you'll never have spent too much on your credit card. Research shows time and time again, people that use a credit card spend more than they would if they only use cash. There's a reason why when you go to the casinos, they don't give you cash to play with. They give you little chips, because those little chips don't look like real money. It's not real money, so in your head, it's not real money, so you don't do that. There's a reason why casinos are awesome when it comes to behavioral economics. They're one of the greatest groups out there when it comes to getting money away from you. They are awesome with that. Pay your credit card off every night. Therefore, you will not have a big balance. Your credit card will still like you a little bit because they get a transaction fee every time. They get something called an interbank interchange fee every time you swipe it, so they get a little bit. They would like it more if you racked up $8,000 in credit card debt and then had interest on it, but we're not going to do that. And you earn points. So the people that have been stuck behind me at Kroger that have seen me pay with a credit card, you see me pay with a Visa that is a black Visa that has Marriott rewards on it. My wife and I like to travel. That's what we find as a benefit. That's what we focus on. So we earn points. Now, since we've been trapped in the house due to a global pandemic, we haven't been able to travel. I currently have 195,000 Marriott points. I'm getting close to the point where I'm going to go to the Marriott Hotel here in town and stay for a month just because I can. So that's where we're at. That's something that we like. That's something that we use our points for. So yes, I will use a credit card for short term, but only with the thought that I'm going to pay it off that night. So I'm not going to pay interest on it. I'm not going to wait till the end of the month because I'm afraid that I may end up spending more than I wanted to, because I know with that credit card, it doesn't look like real money. And I know that I may be tempted to spend, instead of where I would spend $8, maybe spend 12. And a lot of those $12 then adds up over time. So it's really good with that. So as I've gone through here, would you recommend trying to invest while paying off credit card debt? I would not. I would pay off your, like I said, I'd pay off credit card debt unless you can find an investment that pays you more than 30%. I use 30%. Most bank credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, they're typically between 15 and 20%. But if you look at department store cards, Best Buy, Kohl's, J.C. Penney's, Belk, Dillard's, they're 29.99% usually. They're right at 30%. So that gets very pricey. Bank interest rates are awful. Yes, they are. Those evil bankers. Hopefully there's no evil bankers on here. What is the best savings retirement plan? Again, going back into investing in mutual funds. One of the good things about it is there are now mutual funds out there that are based on your age, so that, you know, younger people, once again, looking at the screen, I'm going to pick on Luna. She's our token young person. Luna should be invested in stock market and high growth stocks because Luna is young. She laughs at risk. She looks at risk and she just laughs at it. I am old. I will be 50 in April. 50. The good news is my wife will be 50 in March. So for 23 days, she'll be 50 and I'll still be a young 49. We are older. We should not be invested in all stock. We should be invested in some more mature, older companies, not the growth companies. We should also be moving into bonds and areas like that once you get into close to retire. And the reason why is the stocks that Luna's going to be invested in, overall, they're going to go up, but there's going to be wide fluctuations. At my age, I don't want fluctuations. Fluctuations are not my friend. And when I turn 60, 63, 65, I really don't want fluctuations. I don't want anything close to that. I don't want to lose 40% of my retirement the day before I retire. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I want to be able to make the financial decisions now that will allow me to follow whatever my dreams, whatever my passions are. And that's one of the things we try to do when we're talking to students with the Scarlet to Black program. I tell all of them the very first time, I want them all to major in economics and finance, because I think that's by far the most important majors ever. The reason why I say this is because I teach economics and finance. I understand not everybody likes economics and finance. My wife took an economics class at Fresno State University, her first semester, and she was pretty sure it was a foreign language. She said what they were talking there did not make any sense. So she decided, I'm going to major in whatever is the farthest from economics and finance, and she majored in social work, which is pretty far from that. She then got a master's in higher ed. She works with first-year students. I want everybody to be able to follow their passion. If you're passionate, if you're going to be like Lynn Howerton and try to save every animal in Craighead County in Northeast Arkansas, then I want you to be able to follow that. I had a young lady who was talking. We were in one of these Zoom calls. She works for me. She said, "My passion." She was talking to other people. "My passion is I want to retire when I'm younger. I don't want to be old and like 50 and still working." Yeah, I see some of the looks. Imagine the look that I gave and what I said to her when she said that. Like, some of us are 49 and 2/3. And that fit, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you were that old." Did not help. You did not help with that. So that's kind of what we want to look at. The last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to share a screen. I apologize for just sharing the screen and not putting it in the chat. But we pulled off the chat because there were so many people. What you will see there is you will see hopefully my contact information. You will see how to reach me, phone number. You will see also the website for the Scarlet to Black program, which is our financial literacy program. We are also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I wrote Instagram twice. That can't be right. I think the other thing is Twitter. We are not on the Snapchat because I don't understand Snapchat. I really don't understand Instagram either, but that's okay. If you would like for us to come talk to your group, we will talk via Zoom while we're still, wearing masks and socially distancing. Once that is, oh, I just got a text message from a chancellor and I cannot repeat it. I forgot Dr. Danfus is on here as well. That's why I've been trying to be very good. I know who signs my paychecks. So once this clears out and we can go talk and we can go in person, we are happy to go in person. We'll talk to anybody from third graders through retirees. If you don't want me to talk because you don't think young people will listen to me because I'm old, I understand. I have young college students that'll go talk as well. We are happy to talk and travel anywhere to talk about financial literacy, to talk about entrepreneurship, getting your side hustle on. We're happy to talk about economic. We're happy to talk about anything with you for any of your groups. We've talked to church groups. We've talked to groups that I don't even really understand what they are. Not future farmers, something like future farmers. It's like a farming group. I didn't really understand it, but they had me come talk and I just nodded my head like I knew what was happening. We're happy to come talk to your groups, civic groups, whatever we can do to get word out about the importance of financial literacy and why it matters and how we can go about helping you. I have 4 or 5 students that do an awesome job. 2 of them have decided that they enjoy this so much that they've now changed their career paths and want to do this and actually run one of these at a college campus. So, we're happy to come talk. This summer, we're going to work on a couple of things. We're hoping COVID goes away. We're hoping to do a couple of summer camps for little people. So be on the lookout for that if you have kids. We may do them here in Jonesboro. We're also talking about doing a road show, maybe doing West Memphis, maybe doing Blytheville. You never know where we'll pop up. I have traveled around the state to towns I never knew existed. I have been to beautiful Cato Hills, Arkansas, or Caddo Hills. You don't know where that is? To give you a little bit of an answer, talked to a young lady, asked her what her dream was. She said, "Dr. Tu, my dream is to start a restaurant in the big city." I said, "That is awesome. Chicago, LA, New York." She looked at me like I was talking a foreign language. She said, "No, Hot Springs." So Hot Springs is her idea of the big city. And this is about 45 minutes from Hot Springs. Thank y'all for listening. I think Taylor is now jumping on. Maybe. There's Taylor. He's jumping on.
Well, thank you very much for the time to speak with us today, Dr. Tu. I certainly learned a lot. And again, I'd encourage everybody here, please reach out to Dr. Tu if you would like to have he or some of his students come and speak with you a little bit more about financial literacy. If there's any other questions that you have, again, feel free to send those in to us or to Dr. Tu directly, and we'll try to address them as best as we can. I want to thank everybody who attended today for joining us, and please keep an eye out on the for the Alumni Association's media channels and on the website. We'll be announcing more of these Lunch and Learn sessions through the year. This will be an ongoing series where we will highlight various programs and various other things that are going on amongst around the university here and amongst our own alumni as well. So please keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much. I hope everybody is off to a great start in 2021, and we will see you all for the next Lunch and Learn session. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day.
And whatever you do not wave before you log off. No one waves when they leave a real meeting. Don't wave at the camera before you leave. Lynn Howerton. Crystal Thurman, I see you there, Crystal. People joining in from the great state of Mississippi. Dr. Danforth waving. See, there's a no wave policy.
Hotty toddy.
Oh, there we go.
I'm just kidding. Well, not really, but
I understand.
great job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Dr. Tu.
Absolutely. Good hearing from you, Ethan.
You too. It was a great seminar. Appreciate it.
Sure. You want me to hit the stop record now, Taylor?
Yeah, let's go ahead and stop the recording.